Thank you all for coming today. Can you all hear me in the far reaches of the room? All right. I'm glad I don't have to stand like this though. My name is Cynthia Mumford. I am the Executive Director of Omni Youth Programs, and I welcome you. And I couldn't be more proud of this day. There's been a lot of work going into it for a lot of people. And thank you for your interest in this topic. So I'm going to be introducing, doing all the background stuff, and then hand you over to the speakers. What today's presentation is about is working effectively with diverse cultures. One size doesn't fit all. And this is today's focus, as you all know, is about Afghanistan immigrants and refugees. So the food that's over there is catered by an Afghani group. And the amazing part is when I called them to inquire about the catering and I told them what this event was all about, the gentleman who answered, who I was talking with, said, this agency, the people who were presenting here, he said, they're the first people who met me when I arrived in the United States, and they helped me get a place to live and food to eat, and I'm so grateful to them. So that was just so incredible to have that connection with the caterer. But these are all 100% pure Afghani restaurants, Afghanistan food, and so far, so far we're finding out they did it right. So please help yourself. If you'd like to get up in the middle of the meeting and get seconds, go ahead. Just go ahead and do that. And if there is some leftovers, we'll see about sending some of you home with leftovers, okay? We don't have a zillion containers, but I have some, so hopefully we can get you connected with that. The caterer is East Market and Restaurant. There also is candy on all of your tables, which is from an Afghanistan market, because what's more fun than junk food from another country? So I got a whole bunch of different bags worth of candy. Ended up in a great conversation with the owner of that market as well. And they also know this agency. And it's been an incredible circuit to have met. And I'm just very excited about them. I had hoped that he's going to make it today, but he didn't apparently. But I'm still thrilled, and I'm going to be going back there. And he talked about us doing things together. Because when he first arrived in this country with help, one of the first things he did is start volunteering at nonprofits in the area. And now he owns this mind-blowing market, which is breathtaking, by the way. I was like, kid in a candy store. It was stunning. And it's in Rancho Cordova. Afghanistan market is the name. On your table, there are the black wicker or black wire baskets. Obviously, notepads and pens are self-explanatory, but there is also a post survey that we're going to ask you to fill out before you leave today. Please, please, please. You all know the world of nonprofit, having those post surveys make or break a deal for us. So please do fill them out, take them seriously, give us your honest feedback. But if you have any really cool sentences we could use for promotion down the road, or show our funders that it was meaningful to you, that would be very nice if you feel like it. Absolutely no pressure. They are anonymous, so it's totally okay. Whatever you want to say, just be honest. As you can see, there's a videographer in the room. Suleiman dropped in my lap yesterday afternoon, and he's here today. He reached out to us and said, pay me whatever you want. I want to do this project for you. And I just still can't get over this. So the exciting part is that anybody who is not here can see it, or if any of you want to hear this information again, I have no idea how I'm going to make it available to all of you once it's done, because this is my first time, but Sherry, you think we can get it on YouTube or something, our YouTube channel? But we don't know. We'll let you know. We'll send you an email when it's available, okay? On our website. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'm so excited to have this recorded and available to a much wider audience. If you do not want to be videotaped, raise your hand so Suleiman can see you, and he will make sure to not get your face in any photos. Or go up to him and whisper to him and point out where if you're too, you don't want to be the only one raising your hand because nobody's doing it yet. If you're too shy, just let him or me know. We'll keep it on the down low. Okay. We also just want to point out the Omni Youth Program booth over there. If you want to visit it at the end of the event, and some giveaways, but information, and we have translated. A lot of our information is translated into the Afghanistan languages, so please go over and take a look at that, help yourself. And now let me get to the much more important stuff rather than housekeeping. So the purpose of today's workshop is for agencies and individuals seeking to build meaningful relationships with Afghanistan people in Sacramento County to provide services such as drug prevention, behavioral health, social services, and educational services. And this series, the Cultural Orientation Series, is an outgrowth of a cultural panel that our agency hosted at the April 2023 Prevention Summit that was organized by SCOE. And SCOE is also a co-sponsor of this series because this beautiful space is provided for no cost by SCOE to our agency, and we are so grateful for our very lengthy and fabulous partnership. Thank you, Joelle. And the funding for everything else for this event is provided by Sacramento County Department of Health Services, SUPTE, Substance Use Prevention and Treatment Division. So thank you very much to our funders. Let's give a round. We have a couple of, let's give a round of applause for these who are paying for this. We're very thankful. So the initial panel that we had at the summit was this series is an outgrowth of our agency's work with various cultures over the decades, where we learned really the hard way that we have to take a very different approach with immigrant and refugee populations. And we wanted to offer this series to help other agencies not to have to learn what often took us years and years and years to go through, and to awaken to ways that cultures could be different that we never thought of. And that was what was in our way. What other things in our way was things they might not be comfortable with, or mistrust based on their experiences in their homeland or since coming to the US. And if you, as the saying goes, try not to do that in the mic. As the saying goes, you don't know what you don't know. And so we didn't even know why it wasn't working for us. And so that's the whole point of these, is to let more people know what you may not be aware of and might be the one thing that's getting in your way. Because they would very much appreciate your help, as everybody does, appreciating help when they need it. So today's presentation is specifically, the first one was on Russian and Ukrainian immigrants. This one is on Afghanistan people. Thank you so much, caretakers. And so this is going to be an overview of the wide diversity among Afghanistan people. You're going to be amazed, as I was when these ladies educated me so much. They've been very kind to me and took a risk with me, allowing me to provide services, and we've been working together for years. And I feel like they're my sisters now. I honestly do. When I get an email, my heart just feels so happy to hear from them. So it's also going to cover sociological, cultural, and historical influences, intergenerational trauma, and difficulties refugees and immigrants need to overcome their first years in the U.S. It's also going to include practical strategies to establish a rapport with the Afghani people and the organizations that serve them, and how to build trust and to effectively connect and promote your services to the population you want to serve. So I always like to give a couple of statistics before we start, and we only have just a few more minutes before the good stuff begins. So here's some statistics I learned on Afghani population in Sacramento, and if you have different numbers, let them know that, because some of these are from 21, 22, every place I looked at had different numbers, so I did my best. There are more than 100,000 Afghan refugees living in the U.S. Thank you for nodding your head. And California has one of the largest Afghanistan populations in the entire U.S., with roughly 1/3 of all Afghans in California. That's a lot. And that is more than double the next highest state, which is Texas. Yeah. So 1 in 9 Afghan natives who are living in the U.S. I'm so sorry. 1 in 9 Afghan natives living in the U.S. reside in the Sacramento region. And that is more than any other county in the United States. So good for you for being here and wanting to serve this population. And so now, we're finally going to get to why you're all here. As you see, we have 5 panelists. So the way we're going to do this is they're going to obviously split it up. We're going to start with Malalai Safi, who is the Senior Community Wellness Specialist at IRC, the International Rescue Committee, yes. And Yasaman Vadad, who is the Community Wellness Specialist. Everybody's from the International Rescue Committee, Sacramento branch. It's a national organization, so they're the local branch. And after they speak, they're going to share the presentation, including videos and all sorts of things. Then we have Sayeda Hamdani and 2 youth who are going to present as well. Isn't that great? We should be hearing from the youth what their experience is. And if I mess up your name, you correct me. Taib Huda Jelani and Sapeda Saidi. Close enough, huh? Yeah. All right, very good. So please give a warm welcome to Malalai and Yasaman.
Hello and good morning. Thank you, Satya, for introducing me. So I have the honor today to talk about Afghan culture. You can see my slide. So let me see if I can use this. Yeah, it's working. So this is my name and Yassi's name, our email address. We will show it at the end if you wanted to take a picture of that or a note with you. So what topics we are going to cover today is we will do a very brief overview of IRC. Then we will have a Afghan culture at a glance, the map where Afghanistan is located, some demography, languages, religion, family dynamics. Then we will talk a little bit about history of the refugee experiences, communication, health and mental health. So we have another topic, since we are working a lot with Omni and Cynthia. We have some slides to talk culturally how Afghan use substances there and how they are facing it here. So we have some slides to talk about that. Then we will not after my presentation end, we will not have a Q&A of since they are like doing their presentation. Then at the end we will have your question at the end. I apologize because I'm not very fluent in English like Cynthia was talking, but bear with me. If you have any question or some sentences, if I have accent, I cannot like say it properly, just raise your hand so I can like give you more information on that sentence because I know my English is not very like perfect, so bear with me. IRC is founded in 1933 at the request of Albert Einstein. The IRC offers life-saving aid and solution to today's most challenging humanitarian crisis. And I brought a quote of Albert Einstein that I left here. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. So this is a brief thing about the IRC and the other. IRC is an international organization. We have so many offices around the world, like more than 40 offices around the world. And also we have 27 offices just in the United States, that we are one of those offices in Sacramento. What IRC do? So IRC is a resettlement agency, and it's like doing the initial resettlement support, housing and employment support, immigration legal services, mental health and community support, gender-specific services. That's like very popular now, right now in Sacramento, and we are part of that. That providing those supports, survivor services, food and donation support, yacht support. So now about Afghanistan. As you see in the map, Afghanistan is located in Central Asia. It's very landlocked country, like half of it all mountains, and the size of Afghanistan is the same as Texas, because Texas state. Afghanistan share borders with 6 countries: Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Pakistan, China. So I'm talking about these because sometimes culture effects of all those neighbors inside Afghanistan. So we inherited a little bit like from all our neighbors as well. Administrative division, Afghanistan, the capital of Afghanistan is Kabul city, and we have 34 provinces. And the administrative division is 5 big cities the names are here: Kandahar, Nangarhar, Balkh, Herat, Khost. Why I'm talking today about this slide? Because you will see very different Afghans when you are like providing services for them. Some of them are highly educated. Some of them can speak good English, but you can see some families they cannot speak English or they are not educated, men and women. So this is why that like last year wars affect everything in Afghanistan, but in capital Kabul city and these big cities, we have universities, we have like medical support, everything. So the people that they are highly educated, especially women, they had the right to go to school, get education, are from those big cities. So we have lots of other population that they were like living very far from these cities that they cannot like access those education, medical, anything. So this is the difference. When you are like seeing people that they are educated, they can speak English, they are from those big cities, which is like 5 cities is less than 34 provinces. But just we have like good security in these provinces. Government. How government looked like 2.5 years ago. The name was Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. We were electing president for 5 years. We had Parliament, House of Representatives, and Senate. Everything is just right now, as probably you may know. I'm saying war because it's not now the same. A small group or a regime is now governing Afghanistan. That they don't have any parliament election. They don't believe on those things. But last 20 years, by the support of United States, we had all those things. Demographic. Afghanistan has like more than like 41 million population. This statistic is from 2022. So all male statistics is 51%, 51.99%, female 24.15%. Life expectancy is 60 years old. I'm saying always, if they survive of like rocket bombing, suicide bombing, so life expectancy is 60 years old. Literacy rate is 38.2 among adults. More than 3.6 million Afghans are living as refugees all around the world. So some pictures from Afghanistan. You can see there we have like very popular rivers which are coming right from the mountains, very sweet water. We don't have like oceans or seas, but we have like sweet waters that coming from mountains. The other thing that we experience all four seasons together, like spring, summer, fall, winter. And what is other? Yeah, the climate is very similar to California. This is why people, when Afghans get in the United States, they love California to, to live here because our climate is very the same. Some pictures from Afghanistan. You see the snow. We have very like high snow there, and the spring. Afghan ethnic group. So we have different ethnic groups in Afghanistan: Pashtun, Tajik, Uzbek, Hazara, and others. So Pashtuns are majority, and they are Pashto speakers. We will talk a little bit about the languages as well. Tajik, we have 27% that speak Dari Farsi, and Azara also speak Dari Farsi, and we have another languages that are not a lot, but we can see in Sacramento that we have Pashai as well. We will be talking about languages as well. Here about the languages. So as I said, Pashtuns are the majority in Afghanistan, but the very popular language, written, verbal, is Dari in Afghanistan. Because Dari is a very sweet language that's easy to learn. So everyone, like all Pashto speakers, not all, but most of them, they can speak Dari, they can write, they can listen, their listening is good. This is why I brought Dari first and then Pashto. For Pashto speakers, some of them, they cannot speak Dari, but at least they can understand Dari. This is why I'm saying that the Dari will be a good practices that always we start with Dari when we are interacting with Afghans. If they say, oh, I cannot speak that or I cannot understand that, then we can go to see Pashto as well. I have a note here of Dari and Farsi because sometimes it's like mixing. What is Dari? What's Farsi? What's Persian? So you can see that no, Dari and Farsi are two different dialects of the Persian language. However, for Afghans with lower education level, it's difficult to understand Farsi, which is more Iranian dialect languages. So it means that for me, I am like very fluent in Persian. If I talk with an Iranian Farsi, I'm okay. But with a person that they are not very educated, so the literature is a little bit high. They cannot catch it. So the best practice when you're interacting with Afghans, so have like Afghani interpreter that Iranian, because they have a little bit like high literature, or I can say accent, they cannot understand. So the Dari Farsi is okay. When it comes Persian, Iranian, it will be difficult for Afghans to understand. Yes, yes, sure.
The important that you should note in here when you are requesting interpretation or interpreter for your client should be mindful about which language or dialect they are speaking, because really for who's not uneducated is understanding other languages. It's not easy, especially when they are experiencing trauma. And it's the same language, same as English you are speaking in US or Australia or UK, but you can see for maybe uneducated or low educated people, sometimes which language are speaking, but it's the same English. And other thing that we want to ask you is, especially for your offices, when you're requesting for interpreter, be mindful of the gender, because cultural norm is females not sharing deeply their concern or the challenges or problems they have with male interpreter. This is that we want to keep in your mind. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Constant invasion and conquest. So why these Afghans are like all refugees around the world? Why they are not getting so like good services of education, health, anything? These wars, like constantly wars, like destroyed everything. We had like in 1919 started the Anglo War, then Soviet Union, then Civil War, and right now Taliban. So this is not letting people to grow, to improve. So this is why everything keeps behind. I don't know you are hearing the news or not right now. Right now, all women are just at home and doors are locked on them because they cannot even go out for grocery shopping without a man. So this is why we can see that when we are like interacting with Afghans, we can see some Afghans, especially women, they are not like very courageous to talk to you. They are just like hiding themselves behind their husband or brothers because of all these things that going on. And these constant invasions have some effects as well on all Afghans, but especially the refugees that they escape their countries. So what's the refugee experience? When they are in a bad situation in their own countries, right? They escape because they are seeking a safe space or a space that they can at least have a safe housing or at least a safe place. When they escape, they are experiencing very hard time during their escape from their own countries. Like, for example, if we talk about the chaos 2 years ago in 2021 in Afghanistan, probably you were seeing the news is that how they escape, how they spend so many months, days and months in military camps, children, women. So they have very bad experience. Like, I am, because our organization, we are working with these refugees. Every time we are hearing their stories, so sometimes Yasi knows that I cry a lot because I'm an emotional person. So it's hard to hear what they have been through. So this is when they escape from the bad situation, they experience bad, like refugee, like in the route, then they are reaching a place, their final destination. Still, there is another chaos starting for them because different culture, different language, everything is new for them. So here, this is my point that we should be very like have high tolerance interacting with them because they are the life was not easy for them. So the adjustment takes time because we are working with so many refugees and we see that some refugees they can adjust in 1 year, 2 years, but some of them even 5 years. Still, they are struggling with everything that I have some slides that we were talking that what are the most challenging for them that they learn and they adjust and how they do that. Oh, I have some photos from Afghanistan that how was it before and what became after the wars. You can see we had a very beautiful palace built. They have like they there very long ago and it destroyed. Women were free. They could go to education, get like go to universities, get their higher education. But again, they stopped. See the outfit, how women were like very modern. And right now, the outfit, the last pictures with those workouts you see right now, all Afghan women are dressing like that, and their outfit inside the couples, inside Afghanistan. But when they are going outside, they become normal like us. Common health result of conflict. So what is the result of all these conflicts? Million disabled. Physical disability, vision impairment, deaf or hard of hearing, mental health condition, intellectual disability, acquired brain injury. Like me and Yasi, we are working in mental health department. And we know that how much their mental health is suffering from all these traumas that they have been through, all these things. Afghan in Sacramento. So as Satya was sharing, that California is the most interest place for Afghans. And in California, Sacramento is a city of most interest for Afghans. Because of the similarity of the weather probably, or the communities, or the welcoming people that the city has. So everyone that they just reach United States, they want to come. As an agency, I can say that once there was a time that we say, okay, we don't want other people coming here because housing, everything was, we cannot like provide. And they still find a way to come to the Sacramento. Like, I have a tie, I have like my cousin there, so please bring me in Sacramento. The numbers that Santia was sharing is completely accurate. The recent search that me and Yasi did, we find out that 66,000 families living just in California, and most of them in Sacramento. What are the very major areas that Afghans are living and they have their communities? Arden Arcade, Carmichael, West Sacramento, El Grove, Rancho Cordova, North Highland, North Natomas. If you want to like reach out to them, they have malls, communities, and the other thing that Afghans really like to live together. Like in one apartment complex, if one Afghan goes there, so they bring another one too. So you can find at least like 5 to 10 families live together in one apartment complex. Legal status. This slide is give you a little bit information about the immigration status of refugees, because not all of them have the same benefit receiving. This is different. Like we can say SIV, Special Immigrant Visa. These people, when they are coming, Everything is ready for them. Even when they are coming after 1 week, they receive their green card, and they are eligible to access all kind of services in the city. But we have another immigration status like refugee, asylee, and Afghan purely. Afghan purely is new because after the chaos in Afghanistan and that like over 100,000 people that they evacuated, they called it purely, Afghan purely. Sometimes because lack of documentation, lack of everything, they are facing many issues receiving benefits. All benefits, especially health benefit, which is very, very necessary. So,
Yeah, I want to add something here. Maybe question for you, what is the SIV? Why don't have a special immigration visa? Means they are serving for U.S. Army or companies when they are living in Afghanistan. And after that, they are have services that they have could be stayed with their family and moving to U.S. That's because they're coming with green card. The rest of the groups that you are seeing, they don't have green card until everything's proved. For example, refugees, there are promises when they are moved to US after 5 years, they will receive the green card. But for asylee and APA, not promises. For example, many APA, even their situation is more unstable than asylum because they not know even they become asylee or not. Asylee means become refugee in US. As yes, stay until the situation, their country be safe and they come back. Before that, they don't have any stable status. This is very concerning for family. That's because you can see many families why they are still overwhelming or they are still stable. That's because of this.
yeah, thank you, Asija. This purely, when we are interacting with our clients, they are in worry that what will happen with us. Are they accepting us as asylee, or they are deporting us back to Afghanistan? So still, like we are working in mental health department, we see how much they are like have this stress and this anxiety.
I want to add a little note on that slide. If any politics game is changing, they can send him back. We can imagine how it would be hard for family, especially parents. How what will happen to the family. And especially right now, Ukrainian also. I think if we do have any Ukrainian speakers there, even the situation is more worse because it's not promises even they become asylum. They say if war is over, you can back, but when, we don't know.
Thank you, Sujan. So about the family dynamic, very collective culture Afghan has. Community living system, as I said, when they love to be very near together, all the families. Even they are not like relatives, but at least if they say, oh, you speak Pashto or Farsi, I have like, my manager is a good person, so come live by my side. So they are very like, they love to live together. And also large families, probably you will see that multi-generational large families means at least 5 kids an Afghan family has, and at most like 10 kids or more than that. Multi-generation means that when their kids become 18 and over, it's still a kid for the family. Even 25, even they get married, it's still a kid for the family, and mom and dad feel responsible for them. They never say that, okay, because you're an adult, go find your place. They say, okay, stay with me because you're my child. Even they can like, for their sister-in-law, the daughter-in-law and son-in-law, they say, okay, stay with us because we feel responsible for it. But this is another issue that it's a little bit contradicted with the law here, and we face some problems when we are like providing services. Average family size is 8, as I said, least 5, most 10, 11. Adult children lives with parent, women move out, husband after marriage. This is another cultural thing. Family interest before their own. Yes, this is true because Afghans, they care about everyone in their family, in their relatives, but they don't care about theirs. Always their names are at the end of their list. Family responsibility above personal needs. Family matters kept private. They are not easily like talking about their private issues. It's like family issues or anything, children, they are not like feeling comfortable to talk, especially husband. it's a kind of feel of pride that I can do these things. Why should I share it? So when they face problems here, it's good to have like interpreter on their uh, own language, or for female, for male, so they can talk or discuss. Otherwise, they don't like to talk, especially men. Women are more likely to open to other women, as I say. Uh, Patriarchal society, always like keep those respect and have their elders at home with them. Males have the dominant role in decision making because religiously they think that male or husbands are responsible to feed the wife and the children. This is another part that Afghan women don't want to work because they say, okay, I'm not responsible for bringing financial things at home. My husband is doing. So if you're noticing, you're seeing that mostly Afghan men work hard, like sometimes 12 hours per day, to like keep that 11 people at family safe and feed them. And women are not working, just taking care of their children. So this is why they have dominant role as well at home. Male are, as I say, responsible for economic burden, take care of an outside issue. Always, main or Afghan man is responsible to do that. In the US, this culture is a kind of like it's hard. When I'm coming from these among of these people, and I'm seeing that how hard these Afghan men are working. They are working. They are going to doctor appointment. They are doing grocery shopping. Sometimes they are shocked. They cannot do all these things. This is why we came with women empowerment ideas that this is United States, let's empower these women to drive, to do at least their grocery shopping, to learn English language, to at least go to their doctor appointment and talk. Otherwise, these men are overwhelmed. When they get overwhelmed, they cannot reach appropriately for everyone at home. Sometimes there is a lot of issues in the families. So this is why, because they are overwhelmed with all these things. Take care of parents and seniors is a kind of very culture appropriate for Afghans. They will take care of them forever. Marriage, always arranged marriage. Last 20 years was a kind of it was changing. Like at least women, girls and boys, they could choose who to marry, but overall, culturally, it's arranged marriage. I have my master's degree. I have been in many countries, more than 12 countries I have traveled, but my marriage is arranged marriage. I didn't know when my mom and dad, they decided to select a person for me. We are a very educated family, but let's see for those families that they are not, and they don't have a right to choose wife and husband for themselves. Have to form marriage at the same time for men. They can do that culturally and religiously. Getting married to first cousin, like I'm getting married to my first cousin, they think is a big no. Mahar, mandatory payment in form of money or possession that they promise to the bride that, okay, when you're leaving your parents and you're coming with me, I will give you this much money, which never happened. This is just a hope and this is a promise. I don't think so. I have some Afghans here, they can agree with me that they are not paying back, but it's something. They just promise, false promise. Divorce is not very common. Yeah, they will bear everything to not come to the divorce situation. Family involvement before divorce, if they have issues, they will go to their elders to solve that issue. Divorce, religion, and community influence. So it's 3 divorce. They cannot do more than 3 divorce. They should start with the 3rd forever. Children custody. Children custody after divorce is always going to follow. This is why here in the United States, when issues coming with the families, mostly women, they bear along. They hide everything. They don't want it disclosed. All the violence they accept because they don't want to lose their children. In many women empowerment program, we are seeing that this is United States, this is the rule of law. This is not the case here, but still there are all these violence on me, but I don't want to lose my children because in Afghanistan it's the same. When the divorce happens, nobody asks the woman about your children. They just keep the children and give it to the father. Celebration and holidays. So we are talking about this. Probably I'm with the school districts. I'm talking a lot because they know when there is a Eid day, nobody know I'm gonna show up to the school. Like from 18 high school, like more than 50% Afghans studying there. Once I was talking with principal and she was telling me that once we realized that no Afghan show up, half of our school is not here. What's happening? So that was the Eid day. We have some celebration and holidays. Religious holidays, Ramadan. Ramadan is, it's not holiday, but it's fasting. We are not eating and drinking from like morning to evening. Just for the first day, it's like everybody stays home to a little bit like get used to not drinking and eating. But it's not holiday that stay home. They work, Afghan work, go to school, they do everything, but they are fasting. Eats, we have two Eids, which is very popular. And first day of Eid, everyone want to stay home with their families and celebrate that. One is Eid al-Fitr, which is at the end of month of Ramadan. And one is Eid al-Huda, Feast of Sacrifice. It's 4 days, but I write it 4 day or 3 day, but it's we are celebrating it here in the United States just 1 day. Because of school, work, everything, we just 1 day we are celebrating that. Mawlid Sharif, it's the birthday of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. National holidays, Liberation Day, 15th of February. We were celebrating it back in Afghanistan, but Taliban doesn't allow that now. Solar New Year is a 1 day celebration for Afghans, like Eid. They are not like going to schools, colleges, universities, work. They celebrate with their families. And this Solar New Year, not just for Afghans, many other countries also celebrating those that day, so they all like celebrate like Iranian, right?
Yes.
Tajikistan, they are using it.
Even White House celebrating those.
Yeah,
I think everyone
this year.
is aware of that.
Yeah.
We're celebrating the New Year and going the welcoming the spring.
Yeah. Independence Day, 19th of August. They are not celebrating it here in the United States, but they are doing it back there in Afghanistan. Some etiquettes while visiting an Afghan home, especially for those that they are doing home visits. They like to greet people by saying Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. It's the meaning. Always remove your shoe at the door. We cannot enter with our shoe to their houses. Wait to be shown where to sit, especially if gender is like a little bit important there. If you're a male and you're entering an Afghan house, let the people show you where to sit in what room you go. Because sometimes they don't want all male and female sit together in one place. They will show you. If you're a female, you're going, and they're saying, okay, please come at this place sit. Just wait for them to direct you where to sit. Wait to be shown where to sit. Okay, expect to sit on cushion. Especially here in the United States, I'm seeing lots of market bring those cushions, and now they are using it. This is why they are not using shoes at home, because they're using cushion at home. Complimenting an item, they might offer it to you as a gift. It happens with me. Sometimes people say, oh, you have a beautiful stone. Oh, please give it. So, no, I didn't want to take it from you, but I just want to compliment it. I was like, no, please keep it. Invitation is not always needed for visiting. They just knock on the door and enter house. They're not doing. Okay, I have this time, right? I should skip some slides. Invitation is not always needed for visiting. Family visits often happen without planning. Men and women are generally separated. Even with our relatives, when they are sitting together, they are separating them. Women one place, men one place. Okay. Food and drink. So for food and drink, I will not cover everything, but just note that they love to share their food. Even children at school, when they bring their foods, they try to share it with other children. And when like neighbors, an Afghan family cook something, they just want to distribute it with the neighbors as well. They will never ask, do you have allergy or something? They just share. So when I'm talking with school district, I'm saying to like these children, please do not share your food, or ask at least first, then share, because probably children will have allergy or something. They are good at sharing foods. So alcohol and pork is prohibited in Islam. Religiously, nobody should have it. But unfortunately, we can see lots of Afghan men right now using alcohol, but it's prohibited. It's like they are using it hidden, not in front of people. Sharing food with neighbors and others. Communication, verbally, tone of voice is high, argumentative. When you're providing a service for a person, probably they like talk to you. You feel why he is angry on me? What did I do? No, this is the way they're talking. Direct and indirect, they like Afghans, for when they see a little bit elder people, they are so respectful to them. Try to do not make eye contact with them. Try to like stay calm and very like not moving a lot. This is for generation thing. Trying to speak in stories. Yes, this is you should know that when you ask something, you do not speak of the very like to the point answer. They will go everywhere. Then at the end, they will give you the response. So bear with them and just give them time to reach that main point at the end. Nonverbal eye contact, as I say, it's not very common. Men, yeah, especially among the gender, they are not keeping eye contact for a long time. When you are talking with especially if you are a female and talking with a male, you see that they are not seeing right away at you, and they are like doing this, and you probably feel that they do not care about you, or they are not listening. They are listening, they care, but because of these things, they are, especially married people, they do not keep eye contact with their opposite gender. This is something.
And no shaking hand.
Yeah, shaking hand is like woman with woman, man with man. They can do that, but not the opposite gender. Communication, facial expression, a very like facial expression. If they are happy, if they are sad. The most common compliment that you are receiving is when they are taking our photos. We are not smiling at photos. Just yesterday I was sharing with Yasi that my brother was we were watching his marriage film, and the bride was so serious. Now they have a daughter of 6 years old. She born in United States, very like U.S. culture. She said, "Mom, why you were crying? Why you are not so happy in this film?" Because this is the way that we show our expression. Communication, men to men, call by last name is something that's called respect. If they are in the same generation, friends, they use GAN, John, which means they're at the end of their calling. So probably you notice that I'm saying Yasi John. John is not her last name, but this is just, I'm saying dear Yasi, Yasi John. Men to men, they shake hands, they do hugs, kisses, walking shoulder by shoulder. It's culturally appropriate. Men to women, no handshake, just nod if they say hi or they agree on something, like this. Hands on chest. Woman to woman, expect hugs, kisses, handshake. I love this picture because this is one of the U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan. When a woman was very happy, wanted to show her gratefulness, she goes and like just kiss her. She was surprised, but yeah, then she realized that okay, it's culture, nothing else. Health. Lack of access to adequate health care in Afghanistan may have harmed preventive care for many Afghans. You can, if you're a health care provider, you will see that a family is suffering from different health care, like stomach, let's say brain, joint pain, because they were not receiving all those like medical care. Health is a private topic for Afghans. If we talk in private
areas or a safe space with them, they disclose. Otherwise, they are not eager to talk a lot about that. Women may not share their concern with men. Yes, even the provider, even the PCP or their doctor, dentist, if it's same gender, they are okay. Otherwise, it's hard for them. Ideally, it's the best if they are cared by a clinician and nurse of the same gender. This is especially important if the patient requires obstetric and gynecology care. This is very important. And same gender interpretation. Mental health. Mental health conditions are often stigmatized in Afghan culture because this mental health has very different meaning in Afghanistan. When we are because we are working in that department, we see when we are talking about mental health, so everyone say, oh, I'm not crazy, why you are talking? I'm not very, I don't have a state of depression, why you are talking about this? Very, it's sometimes hard for us to work on this, the stigmatization of this topic to refugees because they have very other meaning of mental health. Okay, I brought some slides of substance use because we are working with Santia on these a lot, so culturally what they think on these areas. So substance, I will not cover all the slides, but I will say you that substance are very easily accessible in Afghanistan because every person can grow it in their lands. They have their own home factories to make it opium, anything that they want, but everything is organic there. All of these drugs are organic there. When they come to the United States with those habits, now they cannot reach out all organic drug. They use chemical, and this has very bad side effect on them. This is why sometimes treatment is getting hard. So I have some slides that what should we do if we can we are we sharing these slides with everyone, Sandhya? Yeah, because I know that my time is up, so I can share and you read because I have something here that when we face those families, those youths or those men and women, how we can interact with them, how we can support them, which is culturally appropriate for them, and they accept it. Sometimes it's hard for these people to accept. Why should I treat? This is a good thing for me. But how we should have communication with them and let them know that how much side effect it has, what the U.S. rule and regulation says about that, what will be the consequences, what's the harm for your children or at the family. So I will share the slide. Please read it. Okay, so now we are talking about Afghan and substance use and what is the relationship with mental health. So giving a little bit more information about drug use in Afghanistan. So this country, for decades, drug cultivation is okay. They don't have any kind of rules and regulation for that to prevent or avoid or at least encourage the people that do not cultivate the drugs. But it doesn't happen because still they are cultivating the drugs. Before regime, before 2 years ago, there were some rules and regulations set to encourage the farmers to do not cultivate, and instead they were giving people another seeds to cultivate and make their incomes. But again, in last 2 years, with the fall of the previous regime and with the coming of the current regime, it again become free. So all farmers think that if they cultivate drugs, they will be rich because it's more expensive. They can sell it easy and they can earn more money. So drug cultivation is something that in rural areas, in big provinces, they are freely cultivated and they produce it. And sometimes they use it and sometimes they export. For the export, if they have the ways and they know the ways, they export it outside of Afghanistan. But usually, as for my understanding, lots of people in Afghanistan, they use drugs for many reasons. First reason is to avoid stress.
They think that if they use this drug, they will be like a little for just for a few moments. They will be away of stress. They will be happy, or they will like not think a lot about the all tough things in their lives. The other thing is they use drug for medicating themselves. They think that probably if they use drugs, they will not feel pain. Let's say if a person have a headache, and instead of like getting another medication for relieving from headache, they use drug for many reasons. One, they don't the accessing for the medication and the quality medication is rare in Afghanistan. It's very hard. People cannot access good medication, and drug is available. So they use drug instead of another medication for pain relief. This is why it's easy for them to use drug. Or sometimes even they use drug as a nutrition. Like in many, I have a slide that shows a BBC news that they have an interview with a father, and father was saying that he dragged the kids because he thinks that if they are not dragged, they will ask for more food. So this drag is a kind of avoiding them to ask for more food. This is why. So people kind of get used to freely or very easy access drag, cultivate drag, sell drag, and use drag. When it comes to the United States, so with these ideas, if people come from another country, sometimes it's hard to like change this belief or the way that the perception that they have. Yes, go ahead, Yasi John.
Malajan, I want to add here that is when I have some conversation with one of the substitute users, they told me sometimes they use the drug as a home treatment for any pain. And as you mentioned, this is the real conversation that I had as a medication, as a painkiller, as if they couldn't sleep, if they have, as you mentioned, for supporting their mental health. They are using, and their thought is no problem because it's a very natural herbs that they can use better than any other material.
That's right. Yeah. So see if they have this much like easy access to drug, so their perception is a kind of geared toward like having drugs, selling drugs. It's easy when they are coming to the United States. Most of them, they don't know the rules, the system here, the drug use, sell, or production of drug. What are the consequences? This is why in these slides, I will like have some like I can say best practices to avoid to help people that do not sell, do not produce, or do not use drugs, especially in yachts. So, as you see in the slide, the best practice, the best idea is that inform or raise awareness programs for drug prevention. These programs, usually for Afghans, if we have it a kind of visual things like videos, like paintings, drawings that shows that drug is not a good thing, what are the consequences, what are the side effects, how we educate people to stay away from drugs. That's a good idea. We can like help to prevent or at least educate people that what drug selling, using, or cultivation means in the United States. So I emphasize again on raising awareness for the immigrants and refugees, not just in Afghans, in any immigrants and refugees that coming from Eastern or Middle Eastern countries or Asian countries. It's good that we should raise this awareness programs for them. Besides that, in-person sessions and fairs about drug prevention will work a lot in families. Always I'm saying in families, in Afghan families, if we have these sessions, these fairs for youths and for men, Afghan men a lot, it's good because usually we saw that drug usage is a lot in male side of Afghans, not female. mostly male can like easily access and use drag. So in-person session, fairs, and also using the using contents for drag prevention in client language will help them, and also uh, we can like say more how like different drag uses from their own countries in the United States, what are the cultural side of usage here. If we can talk, it will be better. The other thing that I want to share here is educate about use rules, rules and rules and laws and other consequences. It's good that we educate people that this is not like your countries that freely you access, you cultivate, you use. Here we cannot do that. These are the consequences if we like bring people from the uh, like law enforcement departments, that they talk with them that if you're using it, if you're selling it or buying these drugs, have these consequences, which is like have a bad effect in families. So it's good that they know, because as far I know, when immigrants and refugees, when they are coming, they don't know the consequences. They think that okay, everything is the same with their country, but it's good that they know about the consequences. That what if they sell it, if they buy it, if they produce it, what problems will cause their families and themselves. If we go to another slide, here in another point, enhance mental health support. So here I mean that if these immigrants and refugees, when they are coming and they already addicted with the drug, we should provide many resources for them to be like okay and treated and stay away from drug. We have some, John, if you remember, we had some clients that they were addicted and their addiction was severe, and we cannot find like places that culturally appropriate can help them to give them treatment to stay away from drug. It was hard for us. If you remember?
Yeah, I remember. It's very surprised for family. We don't have any rehab for adults to be taking care, especially if not be volunteer, because we know when it's sometimes when the people addict, they couldn't decided clearly they not health, they don't have health to do that, then they need help, and they're very surprised that in US they couldn't find any places.
Yes, that's right. And also, if we can provide counseling and therapy services to these people that they are addicted, this could help, because we know that drug addiction is a kind of like have equal effect like with their mental health. First, we talk to them, we tell them that how this drug affects their mental health, and then we provide some counseling and therapy services. If the drug addiction is severe, like the clients we had, so it's good that we should have some places to take care of them and they stay away from the drug. The other part is empowerment through employment. So this is obvious that when refugees and immigrants come to another country, it's hard for them to make themselves busy or find job. They become like stay all day at home, and the rent, the other expenses on their shoulders, especially in Afghan culture, men feel so overwhelmed. So this is why they use drug to stay away of those stress. Experience shows here in Afghan communities that those men that they use drugs, especially those that they don't have jobs, they don't have proper income or a stable income to take care of their family, their home, and their house. Then what they are doing, they want to like cope with that using drugs and stay away of all these stresses. So here my point is, if we make them busy with seeking job for them, making them busy with some learning or education programs. It will help them to stay away of drug. And also, in another point, again, when we were talking, Yasijan, about medication, if we say the difference between the drug and medication, that okay, when you're using drug for painkiller, do not use it because we have over counter medication. If you have PCP doctors, if you go and raise your problem with them, they will help you with the medication. It's not like always use drug for that. Let's say there's a family that always for the painkiller they use drug back in Afghanistan. If they are here, we can like have this information for them. The difference between the medication over counter or the prescribed medication from the doctor or the drug. What are the difference and how they can access it, and medication, we can like convince them that medication will not addict them, but drug will addict them, especially the children and the youths. So we should let them know that they can get those medication over the counter or prescribed by their PCP, and stay away from the drugs. And also, the cost of treatment and transparency is something that we should like help families if they have addicted children or addicted parents, that what are the treatment process here, how much it will cost them. We are to go to find support and assistance. These will like also help a family to find their way and stay away from the drug. So as a conclusion, engaging Afghans in drug prevention and mental health services requires a multifaceted approach by leveraging cultural awareness, legal education, mental health support, employment opportunities, and transparent information. We can foster acceptance and create a healthier, more empowered Afghan community.
A lot of people, why they are addicted, and they have this habit here, because in Afghanistan, I brought a quote from BBC that they were sharing, that the father, because all his children were angry, and because he wants them to be drowsy and sleep all day because he cannot feed them. And the other part of the story is there's no medication in Afghanistan, like very standard, especially not on those big cities that I said, in the other provinces far from. They use those drugs to relieve the pain. Like they have a headache, they use drug. They have a joint pain, they use drug. Then they become addicted. One thing, and another thing about the drug, when a person in family do it, so they other family members get addicted because they don't use those safe spaces to use it. They just between the children, their families there. Most of the men have addiction, but some of the women, as they are using it as a drug for pain relief, they use it. The other thing in the United States, when refugee comes here, when they do not receive the support that they need, because of all the trauma that they have been through and they cannot adjust here, they face struggle because they want to forget everything. This is another thing that once we are talking with families, they are saying, I'm doing it because I want to forget everything from the past, and right now I cannot do anything. So I have some suggestions and best practices in my slide. If we can share, then you can read it and see it. Okay, again, substance. Oh, and I have some additional information and links for you if you want to like have it and go and search it. Thank you so much. Thank you for bearing with me. This is our youth leadership department, and we have some amazing yachts here to come and share more about the Afghan culture. Thank you.
Hello, we're the Youth Leadership Council, and my name is Steve Hajigani. This is my presenting partner, Sapida, and today we're going to be presenting the community and survey presentation. So, as I said, we're the Youth Leadership Council at RC. So, we consist of 12 members and our wonderful boss lady. Yeah, so we advertise against substance prevention and we host different community events in which we help the Afghan community, which is also our target population. And here's a short video showcasing our culture and what do you expect, how you expect to see an Afghan.
Hello everyone. In Afghanistan, one of the most popular dishes is kabuli palau, a flavorful rice dish made with lamb, carrots, raisins, and spice. Another popular dish is mantu, a type of dumpling filled with spice, beef or lamb, Afghan bread or naan. Afghan clothing is also unique. Traditional Afghan clothing for men includes a long shirt, trousers, and a hat called pakol. Women often wear long dresses or skirts paired with a headscarf. Last but not least, the food is delicious and unique, while the clothing is colorful and historic.
Hello, my name is Dana, and I'd like to show you guys the traditional clothing of our lovely country, Afghanistan. So first of all, men, they wear this long shirt called kameez with loose pants called shalwar, and they top it off with a vest called waistcoat, and this is what it all looks like here. And for women, they wear this long, pretty, flowy dress with loose pants, and they call it ganda Afghani. And this is what it looks like here. You guys can see there are some jewelries attached to it, and this is the jewelry that girls wear. And these all just have a diverse of color, tradition, culture, and it's just very beautiful because these all tie down to a deep, rich history of Afghanistan, and this is what represents us.
Afghanistan has a rich cultural heritage and there are many celebrations throughout the year. One of the most important celebrations is Eid al-Fitr, which marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan. During Eid al-Fitr, families gather together to share meals, exchange gifts, and visit friends and relatives. It's a time of joy and celebration, and people often wear new clothes and decorate their homes.
Yep, that was it. Thank you for having
So we also wanted to kind of talk about the Afghan community in Sacramento. As mentioned in the previous slide, we have a growing community here, and with a lot of different families coming in. So we're all here to help them and provide services as much as we can for them. And yeah, we also our group focuses on teaching the community about drugs, which is something really important because, as you guys all know, they have access to drugs in Afghanistan, but it's harder here, and they may not know the rules here. So we wanted to teach them about that.
So the Afghan culture, we have a very diverse culture, and it comes with its long range history and tradition and costume. Um, being mindful of the food and drinks and being aware of conservative gender roles is really important in the Afghan culture. Also, tea is important whenever you visit somebody's house. It's given as a complimentary and like yeah. And there are different ethnic groups, as she mentioned before, the Hazara, Tajik, Pashtun, Baluch, and others. And all different ethnic groups have different cultures and stuff. But one thing they share alike are that they're all Afghan.
We also want to talk about religion because the religion in the culture in Afghanistan is heavily influenced by religion. Um, Islam is the main religion there, but we have other uh, groups that practice other religions, but they're rather small. Um,
it's important also to respect their religious beliefs. Dressing modestly is always appreciated when you see those families, especially when visiting mosques or other religious sites. And as she mentioned earlier, we have dietary codes. We just can't eat pork or drink alcohol. And then we do have regular prayer times and um, the two main languages, which are Pashto and Beri. And I want to touch on the four wives thing earlier that she mentioned. That's a religious thing in Islam because back then, when men went to war and they had wives and families, after, like, if they got killed or died during war, there was nobody else to take care of the families and their wives and children. So it was allowed for other men to marry those women so they can take care of them because opposite genders can't touch. So that was the main reason why the rule, I guess, was created. But you have to, like, make sure you treat those all four wives equally, and yeah, like
The four wives thing also comes with circumstances. For instance, your wife can't bear a child or she is very ill. That's when you can marry another woman. But without a reason, it's not. Without a reason, you can't do that.
yeah, you should have a very clear reason why you are marrying the second wife, and very clear reason why you are marrying the third wife. It's not just it's not just like, oh, I want to have four wives, and I can, like, this is important that we should have clear reason for that.
Yeah, and since most of the people nowadays don't have those type of reasons, they generally have one wife. As you can see here, like the immigrants and others that come here, they generally have one wife. What was your question?
So, because I work in the hospital setting, my question is when they present, like, to the emergency room with the sick person, do they tell us that it's their wife, or do they introduce this person as a family member that's, I guess, who's the primary wife, and how do they introduce the other one to us as the caregiver?
In the United States, because of the legal issue, a person that has two or three wives, they cannot bring it to the United States. They should divorce one because of the legal issue. But recently, with those evacuation of more than 100,000 people, a man can with two to three wives as well.
Oh.
So sometimes they hide it because they say, okay, if I see a doctor, they will not introduce it. Believe me.
Okay.
I have the same situation at IRC. We were helping a person, and one of the wives were so, like, modern, talking good English, and the other one was like So this is not hijab. This is a kind of Afghan identity that I'm wearing, because if I wear hijab, my hair should not, like, show. So that person was all completely black out with a black thing, and I said, who is this person? And they were Pashto speaking. He was saying, our guest coming newly from Afghanistan. Then that woman told me that I'm a second wife, because she trusted me that, okay, this is Afghan, this is Pashto speaker. She said that I'm second wife, but he's not telling because he's afraid. So these are very minors. They are not a lot, because Afghans cannot bring two wives according to U.S. law here.
The most important to acknowledge it ourselves and as a provider when we are serving them. When you are that, because this cultural orientation happening. When you inform, I think it's easier to communicate them with families. Say it is part of the culture norm, and you can ask them if they're part in it, because sometimes could be helping the provider to know, oh, okay, they are coming from Afghanistan, they probably is the second, or other wives, and how you can serving or helping them shouldn't be cause any more stress for them, especially for women, to receive the services.
For health, as you're saying about health, one best practice will be, because I like it, when they are going to emergency, let's say, or their PCP doctor, to invite them along, not with their husband, brothers, anyone. Give them their interpretation so they can, like, be feel relaxed and comfortable. Because in some areas, husband says, "Oh, I want to go with my wife because she cannot speak English. I'm interpreting. Why should you?" right? Because they are controlling. So this is the one habit that we should all practice as a providers to say, okay, you're two coming here, but we are just talking with the patient, right? And you just, because it was a habit, but recently I'm seeing it's not practicing a lot in clinics, so it's good. Just give them the space for them make provide interpretation, anything that give them the space to talk, not like with 2% anyone.
Yeah, I've never had a female patient that came alone.
Yes,
It's
that's right.
always with her husband, and he's always the one that talks.
Yes, that's the issue that I'm saying. Let them again. You can ask very politely the husband that I'm a doctor. I want to see my patient alone. If she cannot speak English, I will provide the interpretation. Because in some instance, I have a friend. Actually, she was my number, not a friend, but she was telling me that when we go to the doctor with my husband because she cannot speak English, husband told the doctor that I will be interpreter, and not just that, say that she doesn't know anything. I should come and talk on behalf of her health. So this is something that we should practice. Sometimes I'm seeing clinics providers they respect this. They say, okay, I'm a doctor. I want to talk with my patient alone. But some of them, oh, you are a husband. You can interpret. Oh, thank you, come. This is not working because it's a kind of how can I say? I can not say it in words, but you can feel what I mean, right? Yeah. Thank you.
That's good. Thank you.
So experiences. I mean, some of you guys here could probably have different experiences. But for me, as an immigrant who came from Afghanistan in the year 2017, I had a very big language barrier, which enabled me like from being what I wanted to be in school or how I wanted to continue my education. I was stressed about everything else and about my education and stuff. But over time, everyone adjusts. It's like the kids are not the only ones that go through these struggles. There are the families who struggle financially, and there are other aspects that are also considered. But for me, one of my biggest setbacks was the language barrier. But over time, um, I could say I crushed the language barrier and passed the gate. But yeah, it just takes time to adjust, and you're good. I mean, you're good after that.
Yeah. I also moved here with my family in late 2016, when I was in sixth grade. I do have a twin sister, so when we went to school in Afghanistan, we always were in the same class, and we even used to sit next to each other. But then when we came here, they put her in a separate classroom, and then I was alone. So that was also hard for me to adjust to. But I think it was good for both of us because we learn to stand up on our own and learn English faster. But yeah, teachers have a really big role too with helping us because I think my seventh grade English teacher made the biggest impact in my life. She was always there for me and helped me a lot with learning grammar and English. So yeah. Okay. And then some tips on supporting the community. As mentioned before, it's not generally appropriate for men and women to shake hands or have contact with each other. Dressing modestly and drinking that tea is important. And then it's important for us to provide resources for the families that are coming here new because they really have no idea what's going on in the U.S. And also drug education and prevention, as well as counseling and other support services.
And also, don't always assume that help is needed. Sometimes the families don't need help, and they know how to navigate their way around. But like when you go to them, like for me at school, I passed there's a test for EOD and stuff. So I passed that, but they still kept on putting me in those English classes while I wanted to be with regular students. And then I had to bring my parents to the school office and have them talk to them and stuff, and then show them my test results. And then that's when they took me off the ELE program. But and then also at the same time, yeah, just at the same time, like the schools offer translated paperwork, which are not widely done, and it's not as I mean, it's not understandable since most schools use Google Translate back then, but nowadays I think they have people to do that for them. So most families preferred the English version, while the schools kept on insisting that they wanted to give them the Dari or Pashto version of the copy. And also, we did a survey, and this was our second annual survey in which we got 200 responses. And this survey was aimed to understand the knowledge and views of alcohol and drug abuse in the Afghan community.
So our demographic information, so basically for genders, we had almost 50-50. Well, 55% were females and 45% were males. And then our biggest age group was 13 and 17-year-olds. So mostly the youth that answered the survey.
So as you can see here, the graphs are pretty much the same for all of them besides opioids and LSDs. So the question asks that select all that apply, select all that you have heard of before. So most people have heard of marijuana, tobacco, vaping, and other stuff, but things that they need to be informed about are LSDs and opioids, which are the minority in the graph.
And then we also asked one question to indicate whether you think the following statements are true or false. It was less of a split from 2022 results. So we had more educated or knowledgeable group that answered the survey. So yeah, let's look.
So we had another question asking, do you think secondhand smoke is dangerous? In which we got the result we wanted. We got 61%. A majority of people said that yes, they do think secondhand smoke is dangerous. However, about 29% of people did not know what secondhand smoke is. That leads us to focus more on educating people on different types of drugs and how they affect your daily life. And we got a pretty nice result for how many people think it's not dangerous, which was 9%, a minority. But still, we're hoping to get that to a lower number.
And then accessing support. We asked if they have support for people using alcohol and or drugs in their community and if they know how to access it. So 41.5% said no, while 31.5% said yes, and 21% said that the community doesn't provide any support, which was kind of concerning. But we also asked them a question if they have access to information about alcohol and drug education in a language that they understand. And 73% said yes, which is good to know because if they need support and it's not in a language they don't understand, then that's not really a support that they can use. So it's important to have all the support and counseling available in a language that they're able to use.
So here we have another question asking, please indicate how much of a problem you think each topic in your community is, in which you can see the graphs. And so people said that, you can see how scattered they are, and majority said it is a problem, which is indicated through the arrow. And then there's a question on their views on why do you think people in your community use alcohol and drugs, in which people answer stress, anxiety, peer pressure, curiosity, coping. It's very I mean, the graphs are pretty much the same. We got pretty much the same results for most of them. However, yeah, and then that's it.
And then we also want to know the reason as to why the Afghan community doesn't really talk about alcohol and drugs. And one of them we asked if the Afghan community doesn't talk about alcohol and drugs because of fear of judgment of others or stigma. And we have 47% agreeing and 33.5% saying strongly agree. That's almost a little over 70% saying, or 80% actually, saying that the fear of judgment prevents people from seeking help. So we wanted to talk more about drugs and how it's important to know about the dangers, and seeking help should not be looked down upon because that person knows that the dangers now and they want to be more healthy and seek out for that help. And it was a switch from our 2022 results where we had people disagree. About 37% disagreed. So I guess it shows that more people are now fearful of that judgment. So,
And to point out, seen through one of her slides in which they kept on having this straight face for everything, happy, mad, angry, and then the smiley face for drunk. Afghans don't like to seem weak or, in general, show emotions. So they always have that straight face. You should be worried when they are smiling. And then here we have another question from the survey. It asks, do you believe youth in your community know strategies and how to say no if offered drugs or alcohol by friends at school? Um, so a majority said yes, but we're really not happy with the numbers here because it's a half and half split. So most of the Afghans don't know strategies or like they can't own up to the courage and say no to drugs because their relationship with their friends or like not being seen as the same as them is preventing them from that. So that was really interesting looking at that.
and one last thing we want to show you guys is how much of a barrier with each of the items you will be if you ever need to get treatments for substance use. And as you guys can see, a lot of the higher numbers saying that their own judgment, judgment of others, and lack of health insurance and transportation, and then not knowing where to go to for help. A lot of people have said that, and the red and orange colors show that a little or a lot a problem in it. So we wanted to make sure to provide enough services for them to be able to um, go to when they need to.
And thank you for listening to our presentation. Please feel welcome to ask any questions. The floor is open. And we have a presentation evaluation form. If you'd like to, you can fill it out.
So just as a closing, before we all applaud, because I am just starting to break out into a gigantic applause here, our next presentation is going to be in approximately 2 months, and it's going to be on the various Hispanic cultures. So I hope you'll all be able to come to that, but we'll be sending out announcements of location and dates and, when we get 100% detail worked out. And again, this group is very receptive, unlike other groups sometimes that we try to work with. So they are going to save you years of struggle trying to get your services out to the community. As you can see, they're all so warm and bright and on top of things. So don't hesitate to contact them. Everybody's going to stay for a few minutes after so you can approach them and talk with them personally. And please fill out that survey on your table and just turn it over and leave it there. We'll collect it when everybody's left. And we have, and if you know how do they do that? No. So just hold your camera up in front of that scan code and their survey will come up. They're separate. So it's not like you can just do one and not the other. Please do the ones on your table as well. And all right. If you're happy, let's applaud them and give them positive. If you'd like leftovers, there's a few to-go boxes there, or take a couple of plates, put a lid on it, but please, and there's so many yogurt drinks left there. So help yourself. Thank you so much for coming. Bye-bye now.